treasures of Grand exhibit is all ruined now. Maya. I'm sorry, it's just so sad. This was our big chance for everyone to learn about Spirit Channel. Maybe I can cheer her up somehow. Well, now that we've got the Sacred back, maybe they can reopen it. Really? Sure, maybe we can label it the Urn of Master Mask's Desire. That would probably attract a lot of attention. Wow. Whoa, 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 that's brilliant, Nick. We could clean up and be filthy rich. Woohoo! Wow, that was surprisingly easy. Oh man. Oh, it's you, Mr. Wright. Sanders. What's she still hanging around down here for? So how's it going? What about the sacred urn? The urn? Oh, that. It's been taken care of already. What do you mean, oh, that? Taken care of. Do you mean it's been found? Yes. It was brought in during the trial today. Wow, really? You really are the greatest, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright had nothing to do with it. It was Master Mask's wife that found it. Well, anyway, I'm so relieved. I just heard all about it on the news. The detective was actually the thief all along. Looks that way right now. It's my fault. I'm the one who ended up hiring the mask to guard the treasures. Don't blame yourself. You were just doing your job. Hey Nick, if she wants to apologize, you should let her. So, when was it that you heard Detective ask me again? About 20 days ago. And when was it that Master Mask's calling card arrived? That was about 10 days ago. What the shit? What the fuck? This team just fucked out. Okay. Come on guys, dude. Okay. So he sent the calling card to the very place he was hired to guard. I guess that's it then. The detective at me must have really wanted the sacred urn after all. I guess so. What? So Master Mask murdered someone as well? Well, that's how things look right now. Yes, but I thought that he was here stealing our turn at the time. Well, we're talking about the criminal mastermind, so anything's possible. Nick, let's get down to business already. The night of the theft, did you notice anything suspicious about Detective at me? No, I couldn't have. After all, he was hidden the entire time. I never even caught a glimpse of him. He claims that's the way he always operates. It's just what he says so he can have an alibi while he commits the theft himself. Yeah. Yeah, he was caught in the crime scene photo dressed up as Master Mask pretty well. I'm so glad that you got your sacred urn back. Yes, but there's still something that bothers me about it. What is it? I'm not exactly sure. Somehow the urn that came back seems different. Really? You wouldn't know anything about that, would you, Miss Andrews? No, I don't know anything. Why would I? Yeah, maybe it was gonna be a Cyclox. Cyclox. What do you think this means, Nick? It's the person that holds the secret to the mystery of the sacred urn. No way on, Miss Andrews. Can I unlock this yet? I can't. Okay. What's the point of coming here? What the fuck? I've already done. Hold on. Oh, okay, never mind. The guide was just expecting me to not have done that yet, I guess. I told you, it's not me. A sad, pitiful whine that tapers in the silence. It's like they're interrogating Mr. Delight right now. And we don't have enough time as it is. Yeah, well, I guess the police are going crazy just like we are. Yesterday they thought he was just a thief, but now they got a murder case on their hands. I guess you're right. The card over there looks a bit on edge too. Come on, we'll just have to come back later. Okay, let's go check out some other place, Nick. What? I'm so confused. What am I missing actually? Is it from here? Oh, wait, shit. Did you have something? No. Maybe I can do the thing then. I don't know. Hold on. I'm confused. Let's try it, I guess. Miss Andrews, do you know anything about the Sacred Urn? Do I know anything? I'm in charge of the direct treasure exhibit, and that was submitted before the court today. It's obviously not the same urn as before. Well, it's true. Maybe it isn't the same. It could be a fake. A fake? You're the one who said it wasn't the same, so that's the most obvious explanation. Do you have any evidence that the urn was submitted at the trial was genuine? Wait, hold on. Do I have proof actually? Not sure. Fucking hell, what the fuck? Hold on. Just go with this. Make a throw. Ah, respect. Yeah, I mean, appearance that I should just get them. Yes. I guess we'll just go through places. This place that they're calling with cops. What do you expect? Not they know he was actually Master Mask. This must be incredibly embarrassing for them, don't you think? Yeah, I guess they're trying to make up for it by tearing the place apart. Yeah, I just noticed. Gumshoe is nowhere to be seen. He's a homicide detective. He's probably working on the murder case. Wasn't he in charge of the Master Mask investigation all the way up to yesterday? Well, the murder case is a lot more exciting, isn't it? He says something like, "There's nothing like a good murder case, pal." Points for the quality of the impression, but I'm not sure Gumshoe has blood lost in my eye. Oh man. Can I present something to you? Oops. This massive massacre. Huh. I wonder what kind of a house he lives in. Who knows? The music's hanging at his house. Hahaha. You're so funny sometimes, Mickey boy. If I was a famous thief, I'd live in a great big gorgeous mansion. Be sure to tell that to your husband. Ah, I know what this is. That's one of those key cards from Ronnie's company. Come and think of it, it's been a long time since I've seen one. It's probably because Ron doesn't work there anymore. It's Ronnie's wallet. It's one at KB security on the night of the murder. And then I went out to dinner early that evening. I'm sure he had his wallet with him then. So it's true then. He must have dropped it at the crime scene. Do you know about this? Where's the letter addressed to my Ronnie? Sorry, but I hate it when people poke their nose into other people's business. Mr. Light doesn't know about it. Which means she has no idea that her husband was being blackmailed. So what do you know about this? Oh wait, yeah. Well, I have you to thank for that, Mr. Light, and I'm sorry. What are I apologizing for? Because I mistakenly blamed your husband for taking it. I told you, didn't I? Ronnie could never do such a thing. This mess, huh? I wonder what he... Oh. No, he doesn't look it. He can really get things done when he puts his mind to it. Ready? So when exactly does he put his mind to it? Well, not very often, I admit. But I'll never forget the first time we met as long as I live. It's been nice to have such a fun memory like that. Bah. Am I missing something? It's been dropped for several days. There's something suspicious about this paint mark. One part of it is shaped oddly and it's shocking pink. But the other color of the paint is in any way important. Oops. That's by mistake of myself to earn. Hey, cut it out, you're giving me the creeps. That kind of talk. God damn it. Door to the extra storeroom, I can see it looks. Camera computer did let me set up. That's what they said. And he still let it take a picture of him. Because he's not as small as he pretends to be. The camera belonged to Lord Taylor, so he knew he couldn't tamper with it. So then why would Master Mask allow that to happen? Atme said he got hit on the back of the head with this by the thief. But that was obviously a lie. It turned out that Atme was the real thief. It's still hard to believe. Looks like everyone feels very bad about it. I'm gonna take full responsibility and fix that sword myself. No, I don't look it, but I have complete confidence that I can fix it right up. I promise I'll fix it, so you never So you never knew it was spent in the first place. Please be gentle with it. But I go game for the box. It's the box with that secret drawer in it. Don't touch it. There may be clues onto the thief silent on it. I worked so hard to make books. Wait, why is it saying about Thieves Island if they all... What? I'm so confused. Goddamn. That means that he got hit back of the I'm so confused. The security camera was provided by Lord and Taylor Development Store. Also got it the day after the test. Times amount to follow is definitely real. Yeah, I'm real confused right now. Hold on. Here comes to tell us more about Mr. Shane Bluebard. That's Kane Bullard, not Shane Bluebard, pal. Oh yeah, the victim in this case just doesn't make much of an impression on me. We were the victim up until Mr. Bullard was found dead. Yeah, and his body wasn't discovered until this morning. Anyway, we don't have enough information yet. Can you help us out? Sorry, I'm actually a little confused myself. For some reason, I'm just blabbing like an idiot right now. Okay, Nick. Now's our chance to get more info about the victim, so hurry up and ask. Can you tell us some more about Mr. Bullard? CEO of KB Security, right? What kind of company is it anyway? Well, the company basically sends security teams out to buildings to guard them. So Bullard must have had the chance to learn a lot of secrets doing this kind of work. Oh, and I don't know how to put it this, but the guy was kind of a money grabber. Really? Me too, I just love money. I can never get enough. Please stop leaning in towards me like that. You aren't getting to my full head. Anyway, it looks like he did some pretty shifty stuff to earn his millions. Oh, so that's my problem. I need to be shiftier. Nico already. Apparently he was involved in selling trade secrets between rival companies. Oh, that's pretty dirty and unhanded. Yeah. Oh, KB Security used to head security operations against mask to mask. What? Really? Yeah, and after screwing up so many times, the company's reputation really took a nosedive. So it really was Bullard who sent Ron to the blackmail letter, huh? Okay, did I miss anything else on the way? There we go. I was missing that part. Mr. Wright. Mr. Delight. Did they finish their interrogation? Yes, but please don't leave me alone anymore. Mr. Delight, you lied to us before, didn't you? Well, you see, the same night the secretary was stolen from Lordly Taylor department store. Blackmail letter you got summoned you to KB Security to hand over some money. And then that's where the CEO, Kane Bullard, was murdered. But there's only one Ronda light, am I right? So the only question is, where were you that night? This time I want to hear the whole truth. Your life depends on it. Okay. So Delight, do you still insist that you are Master Mask? Isn't that what I've been saying since yesterday? Just a quick response. Tell me about it. To be honest, it's starting to get irritating. But listen, Mr. Delight. The trial today, we learned the true identity of the thief, didn't we? Yes. I guess it's true. I wasn't the one who stole the turn. Of course not. After all, you were at KB Security at the time. So then the person dressed up as Master Mask in this photo, it's gotta be Detective Attorney. So that night, you didn't go to Lord Taylor, you went to KB Security, right? Yes, I went to KB Security at the time the blackmail note said I should. Alright, what happened next? Well, I used to work there, so I knew where the CEO's office was. I knocked, but there was no answer. So then I used the keycard to unlock the door. That's probably when he dropped his wallet. When I went to the CEO's office, someone was in there. Someone. That was at me, Silhouette. Then suddenly they bashed me over the head. Bam. So now I'm really confused, because that was at me, Silhouette, right there. So what the fuck? Was it Kane Bullard that hit you? I don't know. The person ran away while I was still stunned. When I came to my senses, the sight I saw left me speechless. The dead body of the CEO was right there in front of me. I thought I'd die myself. Anyway, I thought I should do something with the body. So that's why you put it in a safe? Yes, that's right. I used to be the chief of one of the security teams, so I knew how to open it. Okay, and what did you do after that? I got out of there for starters. I was the one who set up the security cameras in that building, so I knew how to avoid being spotted by them. Nick? All of a sudden, Mr. Delight kinda sounds like the murderer to me. Please don't say that. Mr. Delight, is it true that 1 year ago, you were forced to quit KB Security? How did you... I'm begging you, please don't tell Desi, please. Don't worry, we haven't told anyone yet. Phew, thank goodness. No, I suppose I'll have to tell her sometime. She'll find out eventually. Why have you been hiding it from her anyway? She would despise me if she ever found out I was living a life of crime. Criminal, a thief. She'd never forgive me. Our marriage would be over. Knowing that, why did you become a thief in the first place? Because Ceci spends money like it's water. There's no job in the world that could bring in enough money. Except being a thief. At least, that's what I thought anyway. So I became Master Mask for this survey. Let's see. She really has a thing against criminals. Do you have any idea why that is, Mr. Delight? Well, if you want to know the details, you'll have to ask her. The thing is, after I lost my job at KP Security, I needed to earn money to keep Desi satisfied. Also fine. But I just couldn't seem to find a good job. So I would end up becoming the thing that Desi hates most. a thief. So I decided to become a thief. I started studying like crazy. Studying? Like what? Petty larceny 101, the history of pilfering. Ah, no, but I watched a lot of movies and read a lot of novels about great thieves. Oh yeah, I admire you for doing your homework, if for nothing else. All the great ones had their own trademarks, flashy costumes, calling cards, unique laughs, and a catchy slogans like "Farewell, my friends." I figured I needed to do a good job with that if I was going to make a splash. I guess you really can't say goofy stuff like that unless you're a master thief. Farewell or we shall meet again, you know, hokey stuff like that. Buzzer went off just once around the time that Bullard was killed. Oh, that's scary. Do you know anything about that, Mr. Delight? Sorry, I'm afraid I don't. Why am I so not surprised by her? Cool as he is anymore. We found it in the office of the CEO, Mr. Bullard. And this is all of the things Master stole. The value of each system. Each item listed next to them. $100,000 and $50,000. I sure that's the value of the stolen items. The numbers seem a little low to me. Even on the black market, the prices should be at least 3 times higher than that. I guess he knows about that stuff because he used to be a security guard. Simmers and buzzer from the CEO's office. Don't press it, it makes a terrible racket. Hehe, sorry, I just love making a lot of noise. Does this buzzer have something to do with this case? Well, at this point I don't really know yet. Well, there were no prints on it or anything else for that matter. Hey, this is an article about my debut heist. Boy, that was a tough one. Before I knew it, they were hot on my trail. Master Mask, he must have gotten away, right? It says in the article that he disappeared. That's right, I got a sudden burst of inspiration. I hid my Master Mask costume in a nearby plastic bucket. And I quickly changed into my security guard uniform. Pretty clever, eh? Oh, awesome. Hey, hold the phone. Got his photo. Is it you, Mr. Delight? Hehe, that's right. Nice trick if I do say so myself. Nice and easy to figure out. Even pearls could see through that in a heartbeat. But as you might expect, Detective Atme found the disguise. It really deserves the title of Ace Detective. Detective Atme found the Master Mask disguise. That's interesting. Oh god. Yes, and I heard that he brought it home with him. So that's it. That's when Atme got his hands on this. After that, I got the chance to remake my costume. It must have been really time consuming, huh? Yes, it took quite a while to complete. Anyway, a few days after that, I received the first of the Blackmail Letters. Blackmail Letters? You got them starting when? Tell me more, now. Hey, calm down. Don't get so worked up. Wait, what got added to the court record, or was it just... Oh, updated this one. I see. It's Blackmail Letter. Is this the first one you got? No, of course not. But this is the first one that ever called me out to a specific location. So did you start receiving Blackmail Letters after this incident? Yes. Just a few days after the terror of Emanon heist. First letter said, I know you did it. Someone found out about your true identity. Just like that. God. It's not easy being a master thief, you know. I will prove that it was you, so give up, it went on to say. So in the end, I had to give up the treasure I went through all the trouble to steal. That's right. Hey, hang on a second, what do you mean you had to give it up? Oh, don't worry. After I put the jewel in the safe deposit box the letter specified, someone sent me $10,000. No one said anything about me being worried, you know. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. Plans? What are these plans you're talking about? There were instructions on how to steal a crown, or painting, or some other rare treasure. They showed security blind spots, escape routes, and even suggested training methods. So you mean the one who planned the heist wasn't you? No, it wasn't. I only planned the very first one. After that, I received plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. It sounds like Mr. Delight is thankful to the person that was blackmailing him. So Ron Delight was Master Mask after all. But someone else is behind the thefts. Someone who planned them all out in detail. All I had to do was deposit the treasures I stole into the safe deposit box. And I just wait for the cash to come in the mail. I did try to not look so gleeful about it. So you went off to the sacred urn because of one of those plans too. Well, see, truth is, I've never seen the urn. All I did was follow the instructions and steal what I was told to steal. The Delight, is everything you just told me the truth? Yes, but please don't tell Leslie, okay? Before we go, there's one more thing I want to ask you. Yes, but please don't hurt me. It's again blood. Do you swear it wasn't you who killed him? Yes, of course. I could never. I'm not lying. All I did was hide his body in the safe. But then I was afraid they'd discover what I did, so I turned myself in yesterday. Why? Well, if the judge had ruled that I was guilty of robbery, then I'd have an alibi, right? I guess so. You're really clever, Mr. Delight. I guess I have no choice but to take Mr. Delight at his word. Stigmaya! Hey Oxino, what's up? Idea. Hey, Pearly. I'm back. What's up, Jamesy? Hey Pearl, so what have you been up to this whole time? Sacred urn, Mr. Nick. I took it back to Grand Village to have it examined. And, what did you find out? There's no need to worry. They said it's the real urn. Okay. Yeah, that's a relief. I was really worried. But there's one small problem. These cute little pink splotches is that it's paint, and that they were put on the urn recently. We're talking about the pink splotches again. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. You gotta find out how they got there. That's a big deal. I see. I mean, it could be. Is it not posted? Wait, didn't you? You posted in the channel, right? So like people from the Discord might like be checking it out. If nothing else, it might be something else as well, but that's like the probably most like straightforward answer, I guess. Yes, Mr. Nick, we've got to find out how they got there. Okay, we'll go find out how they got there. Please don't forget about me. Okay. Can I... do this now? Wait, hold on. Oh, wait. Do. Okay. It's bird. Brother missed it a long time ago. I mean, yeah, fair. Not sure then. Maybe people are just finding it. I don't know. Pearl, how nice to see you. Oh, there. I haven't seen you around lately. What have you been up to? Well, actually, I was having this urn examined. I see. Maybe we take another good look at this urn. We can figure out the mystery of what actually happened here. Nick, let's look around one more time. Spox, there's something about it that's bothering me. The box that the sacred urn was in. Looks like there's some pink paint on it too. It's definitely the same color as the stuff on the urn. I think I know how the paint got on it now. Alright, let's investigate again, Nick. It looks to me like it's been about this paint mark. Well enough about it is shaped oddly and it's shocking pink. So Nick, could it be that this odd shape is... Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. That's the box the sacred urn was in. If you look here, there's a little bit of paint on the box as well. Oh, you're right. Look, it matches. What is it, Mr. Nick? It's all turning out exactly as I thought it would. Okay. I think it's all starting to become clear. We're that much closer to solving the mystery of what happened to the urn. The urn was submitted that the trial was genuine. Sorry to break to you, but the urn is a genuine article. Pearls went back to Crime Village and had it examined. Yes, that's right. That's nice, but I don't see how... What she discovered was that the urn had been broken. Again. You say again? Yes, it was broken once a year ago. Now it looks like the same thing has happened. And quite recently too. Recently? Are you saying that this urn was broken recently? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Why do you think it was broken recently? How do you know? Probably isn't this. Not that. Okay, wait, no. Okay, it wasn't either of those. Maybe this. God damn it. I just present it again? No. Fuck. God damn it. Hold on. I know I do have the... or should have the required evidence, but... Pepega. Oh, I'm thinking the wrong way, of course. Of course it would be, because it looks different here than it does now. Oh my god, I'm dumb. I am dumb. This poster, it was made recently, right? Poster? Ah, the poster for the exhibit. The time when this photo was taken, the urn said I am on it. But now, for some mysterious reason, it says Ami. The urn was fixed, the letters were transposed. I am. What does it even mean? I don't know anything about that. I wasn't even there when the photo for this poster was taken. Or I wasn't. That was a mistake. No, tell the truth. Wait. Or... even if the urn was broken, I had nothing to do with it. Yes, that's it. It must have been one of the people at the photo shoot. They probably dropped it. I'm sure that's what happened. Look like she's not going to give up that last cycle so easily. Do you have any proof that the urn was broken here, Lord Taylor? Well, Sanders, I know I was right about you, Mr. Wright. Excuse me. So say it out loud, aren't you? You never heard me on purpose. Fuck. Oh. Okay. Bye. Well, Miss Andrews, what is this supposed to mean? This urn has these pretty little pink paint splotches on it. There's some on the box the urn was stored in too. No matter how you look at it, the paint seems to be exactly the same, wouldn't you say? So, what does it prove? The urn was dropped along with the box, that when they both got paint on it, that's what they... Are you with me so far? Yes. The rest of the story is obvious. This box was dropped right here in Lord Taylor's basement warehouse. If I can prove that, it means that the urn was broken here too. So can you prove that? Can you prove that the box was dropped here in the basement warehouse? I think you already know where I'm going with this, don't you? Yes, more or less. There's pink paint splattered on the floor and the walls of this basement warehouse. But there's an odd shape imprinted into a part of the paint stain, am I right? Yes. If you put this box into the impression in the paint, you can see it fits perfectly. Which means this box was dropped right over there. That is when the urn was broken. Her name does you justice, Mr. Wright. I'm so sorry. I was the one who broke the urn. Why does this make me feel like some sort of evil school teacher? I'm a terrible person. Not only did I break it, but I tried to hide what I did. Well, that's not so hard to understand, is it, Brody? No, not at all. I know just how she feels. It happened about 2 weeks ago. Just after the poster photo was taken, on the same day the urn arrived here. I thought I'd put it away down there for safekeeping. I was carrying it in the box. When I tripped on a paint can and lost my balance. The box was I was carrying crashed to the ground. I heard a terrible noise and thought my heart was going to stop. During the burst I opened the lid of the box and that's when it happened. The broken pieces of the urn fell out of the box and landed right in the paint. I was in shock. and let out a huge scream. I can totally see how that could have happened. Yeah, as clumsy as she is, I'm sure Maya understands. Well, I knew it was the most important treasure in all of Crime Village, so I tried as hard as I could to fix it. Fortunately, the shards were pretty big. That's when the I am got changed to Ami. I didn't know how it was originally written. Any sane person fixing it would have assumed it said Ami. Any sane person? Really? Oh, pearls. She wasn't very good at spelling. Anyway, I put the urn into the storeroom and no one had seen it since then. But there's something I don't get. When we first came here, I didn't see any paint stains. Well, that's because it was so ugly and embarrassing. I used the golden statue to cover it. Ami faced at you. Aha. The first time that we came down here, it was on the night that the sacred urn was stolen. To Mr. Nick. There were no paint marks on the walls or floor of the warehouse when we were here. Well, there's a good reason for that. The day of the crime, around noon, the golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. And I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I see. Now it makes perfect sense. But there's still one thing I find strange. What is it, Pearl? The day after the urn was stolen, we came here again. At the time, the statue had been moved and the paint was clearly visible. He's right about that. Well, Miss Andrews? What? I don't know anything about that. I placed it there to cover the paint, so why would I move it again? Well then, who was it? Who would have done it and why? On the day before the theft, the statue was definitely close at the door. And the next day it was moved, but why? Looks like there's some connection between the sacred urn and the murder case. Why? Why do you think so, Nick? Because that night, the real thief from the light was at KB security. But then why did another mask show up here? A lot of different things are pointing to one undeniable fact. One undeniable fact. Murder trial is starting tomorrow, but it looks like that thief is going to be making another appearance. Hey Nick, what's this time? I don't believe how many people are here for a trial. Well, it is a murder case. What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door. Next door? Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having detective admins trial today. Detective admin? They said they're going to try him as Master Mask. Already? That was fast. Boy, I'd love to see Master Mask trial. I know. By the way, Rose Pose. When she went back home, she said she can't neglect her training anymore. Oh, you don't like me. Rose has really gotten into her training lately, huh? Yeah, ever since that incident last year. Please, don't ignore me! Oh, Miss Delight, good morning. No one likes me. No one would notice me, even if I killed someone. Come on, don't be silly. Wait a sec. You don't mean you're the murderer? No. I'm just a poor thief. No, wait, that's not right. A thief can't actually be poor. No, let's see. According to Mr. Delight, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Plans that someone had been sending to him to help him commit the heist. You really think there's a connection between the thief and the murder, Nick? It's possible. Today's trial is a race against the clock. How come? Let's take our time like always. I'm afraid that's not an option. For this nomination for the trial of Mr. Rondelite. Defense is ready, Edward. You're ready? Preparation is the last refuge of the week. Okay, settle down everyone. Let's begin your opening statement, Mr. Godot. He's got the chance in the palm of his hand, yet again. Rondelite is simply too young to be sent to war. That's all. I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Godot. Then you need to get out more, Your Honor. Life is forward. That is exactly why you must be more precise in your wording. That's all my statement means. You understand now, right? Yes. Well then, let me briefly summarize the details of this case. Oh, the judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on for a change. The victim is Ken Bullard, CEO of KB Security. His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 AM on the morning of the 13th. However, the time of death was estimated as 1 AM of the previous day. And that's when our little lost kitten dropped the ball. The little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant. Very well then, Mr. Godot, please call your first witness. I never drink more than 70 cups of coffee during any given trial. The first one is always the best. Mr. Godot, your witness. Okay then, let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Rondelite, has to say for himself. The defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? It may be a bit of a disadvantage having the defendant testify, but... I remember when Mia was defending me. She allowed me to testify shortly to the cross-examination. She put a lot of trust in me back then. You have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. Delight to testify. That's right. Goddamn right. Alright then, Mr. Rondelite, please take the stand. You did it, didn't you? Yes. What? No. That's not true. For a moment there I thought we'd set the record for the shortest trial ever. Well, Mr. Delight already looks pretty guilty with the face he's making. And once he opens his big mouth, he'll probably put the last nail in his own coffin. Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? If you didn't kill Bullard, why did you go to KB Security? Well, it's kind of hard to say. Well, I wish I could go home. Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened. I visit the KB, okay. That evening, around 1 AM, I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got ordered me to go there. I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. 1 AM, the exact time the murder took place. The week gets washed away by the tides of fate. The strong drink it up. It's bitter today too. It's my destiny. You'd never know that from the way he's talking it down. It's alright, your consideration if you please. There wasn't much to his testimony was there. I think he's avoiding something. At least that's what it sounds like to me. Oh, the bad thing about this. We better be careful. If we don't find a way to make him spill the beans, we'll never get closer to the truth. Yeah. "1 AM, huh? You're absolutely sure about that?" Yes, that's what my watch said when I was entering the CEO's office. No. Actually, I'm not really sure. My watch was slow and my internal clock was also a bit. 1 AM, that's the exact time the victim Mr. Blood was murdered, correct? It's too late for a coffee date, that's for sure. I ordered you there. It was the first time I'd gotten a blackmail letter that ordered me to go somewhere. Does it mean you got other blackmail letters then? Oh, of course. Fuck. Why don't you save those for later, Mr. Delight? Please don't say any more. Now, what should I do? I wanted the blackmail letter in question saying. It said to bring $50,000. Money, a perfect motive for committing murder. Oh, but wait! I never intended to pay the money anyway. Oh, this is right. After all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of. Important point indeed. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony. Yes, sir. A muddy mud skipper in outer space has a better chance of surviving than I do. That's what were you being blackmailed about anyway? The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct. I'm sure it was referring to the whole mask to mask thing. But I wasn't worried. It's a Polar didn't have anything on me. Didn't? Anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. Just as long as Jesse believes in me. So that's why Mr. Light didn't believe he was mask to mask. That's why I knew they were just hollow threats. Used to be a security chief for KP Security, right? Yes, that's right. Security chief, you! And yet, a year ago you were fired without notice. Meant for an old grudge. Perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say? Isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject. Mr. Light, please tell us why you were fired from your job. Well, is filled with those who have said, I wish I had never asked that. Okay, then I take it back. Defendant, please answer the question. I needed money. You needed money? Well, you see, he loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby. It's like the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick? My salary wasn't nearly enough, so I stole data from the company. Okay. Come again. KV Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. Since I was a security in chief, you stole some data and sold it. The Pollard found out and I was fired immediately. Wow, I wish I had never asked that. I was somehow able to keep it a secret and made it seem like I quit on my own. But Nick, you don't look so good. A man who brings harm to their company is fired as punishment. You do well to remember that. Sure told you. So you admit that you stole data from your company, is it correct? Yes, I'm sorry. It's a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony. Man, this whole thing took a big turn for the worse. Crashed and blew up. It's gonna take shows of life to rip this case from the clutches of disaster. Pardon me for saying. Why would you do something like that? Well, for Desi's hobby. What else? Wasting money, huh? To the waste. Miss Ella doesn't know that her husband was fired, does she? So it would seem. I'm not sure what to think about companies. Couples who keep secrets like that from each other. I can't believe it. This case is gonna even my think seriously about couples. Please try to stay focused, Mr. Wright. There wasn't much this was there. Never mind, I guess. What the hell? Oh wait, okay. So it was this one. The wrong thing. So I did think of this, but like in a different way, I guess. Ah, is it light? You said just now doesn't match what you told me yesterday. Huh? What doesn't? I think you must have been scared, very scared, having a certain person find out your secret. Certain person? It's the severe delight to depend on wife. Wow, but listen to me, my destiny, she's... Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will end before it truly begins. Godot. Yes, we know. It was all your wife's fault. What do you mean? Delight stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, someone used his dirty little secret to blackmail him. And that is how this murder came about. Oh, No, everything is falling neatly into place for him. Don't talk about my Desi like that, or you'll be sorry. Well, it seems that we've learned a great deal of things here so far. What do you think, Nick? I didn't think it was possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes. Clearly there was sufficient motive for murder. He stole data for his wife, and he killed to protect his secret. Family man who cared just a little too much. The motive is clear. Let's move on. What happened at the crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. Delight? Come now, tell us. We are all ears. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed. If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to... Mr. Ballard was lying there, dead. I see. Suddenly hit on the forehead, huh? I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony. Is it that Master Mask struck him on the head from behind? Oh, since Admi turned out to be the culprit himself, that was all a lie. No one's going to believe a pathetic lie like that. What are you saying? I really was attacked. We'll find out if what you say is true or not during the cross-examination. Got that, Mr. Wright? Don't go easy on just because he's your client. If I see any sign that you are, I'll treat you to another cup of my special blend. You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Godot. Have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it. That, could you please clarify what you're referring to? Why? My Master Mask costume, of course. Wait just a moment. Master Mask? Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? Ah, God. Just to be on the safe side, I dressed as Master Mask. And then I descended upon the office of the CEO of KB Security. What? Nick, did you know about this? He never told me this. I don't recall him ever mentioning it to me either. Even I didn't know that. It seems our little friend really loves to keep secrets. I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Wait, that's not right. You know how sometimes things just slip your mind? My 6th cup of coffee is staring up at me coldly. At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony. Why were you dressed up as Master Mask? Why? Because I'm SMS, of course. What are you talking about? SMS trial is being held next door. Ah, yes, I guess so. Anyway, at that time, I thought I was being blackmailed over the Master Mass issue. I thought I should go as him, just to be safe. Oh boy. Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took a lot longer than I'd expected. Took a lot longer. What is he talking about? What do you mean by it took a lot longer? Oh, opening the safe, of course. My cape got caught on the safe door, you see. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullard's body. What was that? Back up a second. Yes. You were the one that hid the body in the safe? Well, yeah. Inconceivable. Why? Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking? Question. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine? What? Answer is simple. When they take them off. It's usual, I have no idea what you're saying. Do you mean that Mr. Delight hit the body? Hit the body because he's the murderer? Ah, so you're not as stupid as you look. The metaphor this time was really obscure. That's right, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you? Well, yes. Why am I not in the loop here? Witness, make sure you add this to the testimony. Yes, sir. Uh-oh. Looks like a storm from this moving over the prayer better judge. Why did you hide the body in the safe anyway? Well, because it wouldn't fit in a drawer. That's not exactly what I meant. When I saw that corpse, I kind of lost it. I thought, if they find this corpse, they'll think I did it. I think you had a simpler reason for than that. Because you killed him. That's why I spent 10 minutes hiding the body. It certainly makes more sense. Hold on. 10 minutes? Why is it, Nick? I just had a thought. Under those circumstances, do you normally try to hide the body? And spend 10 whole minutes to do it? Under those circumstances? What circumstances? Oh! Nick, if you think his behavior was so strange, why don't you present some evidence that would show just what those circumstances were? That's it. We'll take a look at the court record and present some evidence. We heard this from Mr. Delight yesterday, didn't we? There's not much in his testimony either. I bet he's still hiding something. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll just have to draw it out of him. I just hope he doesn't make things any more complicated. Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record? What might this be? Recorded for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to security. The button in the office is pressed, the security team is supposed to come running. According to this record, the buzzer was pushed once, at 1:02 AM. What? If Mr. Rondelite truly was the murderer, he ran as soon as the buzzer sounded. After all, a security guard would have been heading his way. Let's remember who we are dealing with here. Probably had no idea there were security personnel in the building. Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as a chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about them. But as it turns out, the guard never came. That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser who was just gotten punched in the face by his ex's new boyfriend and wasn't anywhere in the vicinity was not something Mr. Delight could have known. Again, remember who we're dealing with here. It's a sure bet that Mr. Delight didn't even notice the buzzer going off. This buzzer is extremely loud. There's no way he could have ignored something like that. If he had been conscious, that is. Just? What do you mean by that? Fine, let's hear your theory. Recall the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Light said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes. Unconscious, so he fainted. That's why Mr. Delight didn't know that the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body. So what are you trying to say? Mr. Delight was knocked out and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right, whoever it was, they knocked out from the light and then pressed the buzzer. Order in the court, Mr. Wright. This is preposterous. It was the kid on the light. He's the one who killed Ken Bullard. Then who pressed the buzzer? It was the victim, of course. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held long enough to press that button. So Ken Bullard sounded the buzzer himself. What's your opinion on this, Mr. Wright? You need to prove that the real criminal was there at the scene, but how? Can I prove that it wasn't Ken Bullard who sounded the buzzer? The defense's opinion is this, Your Honor. This piece of evidence proves that it wasn't the victim who sounded the buzzer. I believe this is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for. There isn't a buzzer. Some kind of clue on it. Absolutely not. Hey, come on now. At least give some thought to what you say before opening your mouth. The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself the clue. Oh, I'm the one who's clueless. This button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Bullard had really pressed it himself, naturally, he would have left his fingerprints behind. Run the light. Obviously wipe them off. Why would he? The guard could have come in at any moment. He touched that button. I know he did. The defendant, Mr. Delight, was dressed as Master Mask. And Master Mask always wears gloves. What reason could he possibly have had to wipe the button free of fingerprints? Order, order, order. It would seem. I've been forced to eat crow. Wonder what blend number crow flavored coffee is. However, if the real killer was at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer? Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger? What's with this awkward silence, officer? It looks like you're fresh out of parlor tricks. They're only unique. Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullard at around 1 AM. And Mr. Delight just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place, right? killer clobbered Mr. Delight and then sounded the buzzer. Security was supposed to respond right away if the buzzer was pressed. Security was supposed to respond. Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say. God. Very well then. Oh, you've got some guts. I like that in an opponent. Why did the regular sound the emergency buzzer? Find out what it did. Actually. In all probability, the killer didn't know what the button was for. What do you mean? The killer probably thought, I wonder what this does, and press it to find out. That's exactly how I make all of my mistakes too. Huh. Is there a functioning brain underneath all that ridiculous hair? Is that right? Huh? The panel around the button is labeled quite clearly. It says emergency buzzer. Let me guess. Maybe next you'll want to claim this mysterious killer was illegitimate. No problem with it, the killer didn't mean to press it. What do you mean? It's possible that they simply pressed it by accident. Could have been with their back during the scuffle, for example. Aha, that must be why there weren't any fingerprints. Objection! Ah, is there a functioning... There we go. Killer knew that if they pressed that button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted. Do you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose? Yes, although as it turned out, he never showed up. Because he was getting his clock cleaned at the time. Ah, what a touching story. You're saying the killer had a change of heart and called the guard to turn himself in? No, I'm not. When the buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in the office. The victim, Ken Ballard, was already dead. The defendant, from the light, who was out cold. And third person, the real killer. Hypothetically, yes. Now then, this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and the light. And if any security guards came running in at that time, they would think that I was the murderer. Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. The frame run the light for the murder. Order. It would seem I've been made to eat my words once again. Actually, you've been made to do a spit take with a cup of coffee. Mr. Wright, who was it? Who was it that tried to frame me? Wait a second. I'm the one and only Master Mask, so... Nick, you mean the real killer is... We're gonna drag that person in here right now. But who is it? I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. Killer knew Mr. Delight's identity. They also knew that he had been called to KB security that night. The killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Ken Ballard. Now then, let's hear the accusation, Mr. Wright. Was that framed Mr. Delight for the murder of Ken Ballard? Detective, look at me. He's the only one who could have done it. Yes, detective. Look at me. You mean Master Mask did it? Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us He's not Master Mask at all. He is in actuality the true murderer of Kane Bullard. Order, order. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Theft and murder. Which is the more serious crime? Not even close. Murder is the more serious crime, of course. It's a capital crime subject to a capital punishment. Please remember the trial from yesterday, if you would. Look at me confess, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom. Of course, a famous detective was unmasked as well as Master Mask. Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along. Be found guilty. Master Mask had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. He was stealing to earn at Lord Taylor. In other words, being found guilty as Master Mask was, look at me, his airtight, watertight and unassailable alibi. Guilty verdict as an alibi? You know, it's almost time. For what? For look at me's verdict. It was a pretty simple trial after all. If we're going to stop this trial and stall that one, we need to do it now. Of course, let's assume you have proof that the detective was the one who committed the murder. So look at me's trial has indeed attracted the attention of the entire country. If we were to intrude and fail to provide adequate proof of his true crime, Mr. Light would be left with no grounds for appeal. Am I really sure about this? It's only good when your life's the end tail. That's right, I believe in you. To the light. So please, I'm begging you. Thanks, but my decision will determine the rest of your life. And I really risk your life like this. Phoenix. What was that? Don't stray, Phoenix. Your client, take the path of trust. That voice, it sounds like... Yeah. You know, the defense requests an immediate recess. So that's your answer, huh? Very well, I've decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. That's right. When we return, please summon Mr. Look at me to the stand. Yes, Your Honor. October 14. Okay, oh, I see, we're watching this now. Well, Sir Detective at me. I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly. Oh no, Sir Detective at me. You were the one who... It's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant look at me. Wait. Don't hand down your verdict yet, please. Well, well, Sir Lawyer. Welcome to my courtroom. Who's this hoser, eh? My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law. And I wish to file an accusation against this man. Look at me. Accusation? You accuse Master Mask? That man is not Master Mask. He's a ruthless murderer. What? Oh man. My sis? I would have sworn I heard Mia's voice. So then, she's still alive? Inside your heart? Vicky boy. Oh, Mr. Light. Is it true that detective is the real killer? To be honest, we didn't have any definitive proof. He's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lord Theater that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Attorney want to kill Ken Bullard? Oops, it's almost time. Till I get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. And it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. Well, 21. Now then, this court is back in session. Please look at me. Please take the stand. Well, how do you do, sir lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I cannot let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when I would have given you your perfect alibi. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Master Mask. I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great look at me has no idea what you mean. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here. You've been in the defendant's stand all day long, correct? Being tried as Master Mask. Indeed. It's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Indeed, the poor fools asked me to protect their valuables. They even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. So you continue to insist that you are, in fact, Master Mask. Of course. Very well then, look at me. Let's begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 AM, Ken Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, so such. Thanks. Alright, Miss Atme. The night of the murder, speak. We are all ears. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. I was stealing the urn as Master Mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. The photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Master Mask was the same as the murder. It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Everything else up until now was all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well. The great Master Mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Unfortunately, Miss Atme, we still have to do a cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool. And he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. Wait, actually. Oh, but that doesn't make any sense either. Like the time doesn't make any sense in either way. I just realized this is the AM, but if it was AM then this should be 12 instead of double zeros, right? For it to be like 1 AM, or near 1 AM. But that might just be a mistake from the devs instead of a detail, I don't know. So this photograph is the proof, correct? You did this. And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. This is why I'm called Master Mask. Conveniently, that also means that there is no way to tell who this really is. What do you mean? Ah, are you saying that this is not in fact Look at Me? It could be an accomplice dressed up as Master Mask to create an alibi. Oh, what an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice? Wait, what? Oh, I didn't realize that was... Goddamn. Look at me, was the KB secret during the murder? And the master mask in this picture has to be a fake. Exactly. You had an accomplice. I remember you said that just right, because there's no going back. You're making basis of claims, I'll treat you to a penalty myself. Penalty's probably being boiling hot too. So who is it, Mr. Wright? Who is the accomplice? This makes no sense, to be honest.
Take that!
And yeah, it's the difference is like, well, the Lord, god damn it. Yeah, this was completely incorrect. Yes, it is. So a photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct? It is, that is it. The very thing that proves I commit the crime. The very thing that proves you commit the crime. When you think about it, it's really odd. You say it almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose.
Objection!
You were simply caught by the very camera that he had set up. We all have days like that. Indeed, it turned out that there was no such thing as the perfect crime at all, after all. Life is truly an ironic thing, a sad blue melody. Looks like I'd better gather more information for now. It's truly the killer, there's got to be something phony in that photo. But the camera that took this photograph. Come on now, it's all too clear what you're thinking. Huh? You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you? I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lord and Taylor. On top of that, it was Lord and Taylor's staff that printed the picture's data. And for something for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered. I see. Looks like I'd better find something else that could be suspicious. But this alibi is false. It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security. But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either the master mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. This photograph is the proof, correct? Indeed it is. Oh god. Mind the photo is certainly worth the matters.
Objection!
The mask veins fell off the information. There really was an accomplice. But right now I have no idea who it was. I don't have any idea right now either. Let's objections are just what that guy wants. There's got to be another way, and I'm going to find it. Hold on. So a photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct? It is, that is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. Very thing that proves I committed the crime.
Objection!
What?
Hold it!
I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lolly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security boss, right? Indeed, there was no reason for why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It's the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see. You truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am. Hey Nick, isn't there something odd about this? The enemy was always proud of his detective skills, right? If the urn was stolen from Lord Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect detective persona. No, that's true. It's kind of odd.
Hold it!
That's why now Lord Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. It means I could not have killed Ken Bullard unless I had been my accomplice. Basement warehouse and this picture that's supposed to capture. It's got to be here. There's something funny about this picture. Implying that this picture is fake. Bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse the night before the theft took place. But there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? I guess this, I don't know.
Take that!
Funny part is right here. Why this is a blood stain. Ah, blood. In this case it's interesting. Not exactly. The stain is actually pink paint. What does paint? Pete's colored at that. From blood to peaches, that's not sure lumps going on his wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider a layout of the basement warehouse. It turns out that something should be there is nowhere to be seen. Well, Mr. Wright, I'm supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains.
Take that!
The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. I myself was there that night the theft took place, and saw that statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue would have been there.
Objection!
But when I went there the day after the theft, the statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally. I don't know, the statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it in that distance. Ah, in that case, can you prove it? Can you give us a rhyme and reason as to why the statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you're prepared with your answer. Bastard. But then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? The one who moved the statue is none other than... Look at me. Come now, Sir Liar. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what base do you have for your strange delusions? It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. It's indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? Reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins. Well, Mr. Wright, What reason did the witness have to move the statue? Oh man. Saves every 5 seconds, because why not? Person can be found here in this photograph. Look at me, you pretended to be Master Mask. You created an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like a cheap film at a drugstore. That's why you had to move the statue. Single fatal flaw. Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. I swear in this picture does this lie exist?
Take that!
Master Mask? Are you saying that this Master Mask is fake? No, I really wish you would start acting more responsible. Current question is, why was the golden statue moved? So, what possible connection would there be with Master Mask's identity? Buggers. Faces of buggers written all over it. Oh shit. I swear does it exist? Fuck. Wait, hold on. Am I just stupid? Is it this again? Somewhere around here. In it. Okay. Hold on. What the heck? Okay, so it was what I thought it would be originally. But I don't know why I... Naturally, the line in this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. The night in question, Look at Me went to KP Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lord Taylor at this time. But what does it have to do with the statue being moved? Remember Hugh Will, Leonor. When was this statue placed besides the warehouse door? Well, the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime. It was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Look at Me had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. So in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place. What the... Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. So on the day of the crime, Miss Me must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. Oh yeah, okay, now everything makes sense. And that is why Look at Me had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did to make the room match the way it had been in his photo. Wow. Order. Is that me? Is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lord Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage the data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. Order. It's recorded. What's the meaning of this? Colonel, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down. My 11th cup. I promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial. Which means I'm still good till the last drop. However, the defense has a very good point. Good point? So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points. No, I think he's got his points mixed up with his other points. So instead his photograph was taken ahead of time. The statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied, which is that it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. That's very true. No way, don't fall for that, Theodore. Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? There's no funny business in your actions as Master Mask. There should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it. Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn. I first received a request from Lorelei Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box and swearing. It was then... God. It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled the security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 AM on October 12th. That's pretty much all stuff we've heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave. Witness, you sure there are no mistakes this time? Swearing. Very well then, Mr. Wright. You may begin your cross-examination. Arrest the cartel earned by Miss Adrian Andrews, is that right? Indeed, it seemed that they had heard of my sparkling reputation. I see Miss Andrews is still attracting the weird house. You better watch out too, Maya. You mean this box? Yes, that pathetic box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn. And she wouldn't let anyone enter the storm, not even me. Ah, interesting new tidbit. So you're sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, look at me, I've let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. You mean this calling card? That's right, that is without a doubt my calling card. I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all. Boss, because Ethme knew about the emblem. Making this card out, I think, would have been child's play for him. And no one entered the basement warehouse. Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. This is the photo that proves it, huh? Indeed. To be honest, even if the photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much. This photo is a fake. Detective Atme might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. We can prove that he's lying there. We can wrap this up and put a boat on it. And take a good hard look at the court record. Lot to go on, is there? Detective has been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. Took this photo well before the actual night of the crime. Alright then, how do we do that? There's one thing that Admi said very clearly. He had never seen the urn before he stole it. To prove that he's lying.
Objection!
Certainly, if you really are Master Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Master Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, that is true, but so what? Truth be told, there is no way that Master Mask could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? The stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lord Taylor. I'm not finding this talk to be very funny, Mr. Wright. The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. You can't be serious. And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means, Detective Atme had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this photo was taken. Phew. And because this photo is a fake, the alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Ah, gosh. Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself? No. Alright, I did it. It's broken. I'm Nick. I think it's still a little early for a victory pose. It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was the Master Mask. And now we're calling him a murderer. You don't think we're being a tad fickle? That's a good point. No way, don't fall for that too, Your Honor. You said Look at Me was the one who killed Ken Bullard. Then let me ask you this, why would he do that? Excellent point. Motive, Mr. Wright, motive. Might you my merry murderer's motive manifest? Nick, he's getting his second wind. Prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on delight, as you say. He must have had a very strong motive for murder. Anyone with any motive we've seen is Ron Delight. That's right, detective. Indeed, according to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in the murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us to what the defendant's motives were. I'd be honored to, Sir Old-Timer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Look at Me had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Ken Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. It was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. That's why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. The victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant. It's a blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. What? Very well, Mr. Wright. In your cross-examination. Well. And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. After doing a thorough background check of Detective Atme and Kane Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security. Nope. That's blunt. In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight. Mistook. That's right, mistook. From the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take in error. That wasn't what I meant. Just what did the victim mistake Master Mask to be? Why, the answer is obvious. From Delight, of course. Boy, I'd like to wipe the smug look off this guy's face. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Master Mask? Don't you already know that? Sorry. Take a look at this newspaper. Oh, it's a famous Terror of Emanon, a magnificent jewel. That photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant. The defendant? The victim clearly misread this article and, sorry, he got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Master Mask. I see. That's so unusually reasonable deduction. Unusually. Give me this blackmail letter right here. It says bring $50,000. The handwriting is, without a doubt, the victim's. There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an address C on this letter anywhere. An address C? This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment, and Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no address C is relevant. I wonder. What's up, Nick? I had a thought. What if the blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? Oh, do you have any evidence of that? For some reason I just can't shake the feeling. There's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? Well, if it's just the PO, I guess it's alright. When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? You know, where a walking contradiction like you gets of saying things like that. You're the one to talk. At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you're there, Junior? Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Stops contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. Let's present this. Ah, little 2-1 punch like that wouldn't even phase me. I think you mean 1-2 punch. It's right. Threatening things through a little. Wait, what? What the hell, dude? Was it? That was zero. Anyway, let's start reading. What? What the fuck? Come on, the rifle load. Hold on. Sure how I can, but okay. Or wait, yeah, I don't know. Take good luck this newspaper clipping. Contains a picture of the Terror of Emanon, the stolen jewel. What about it? The problem is this jewel's color. Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel is blue. However, in the Blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take the red diamond you received the other day. Red? Which means, the red diamond described in the Blackmail letter. It's not the Tear of Emanon that the Master stole at all. And your point is, Mr. Wright? So you're trying to say that this Blackmail letter was intended for someone else? That's what you're trying to say, right, Wright? That's what you're saying. Trying to say, right, Mr. Wright? Well, that's what you're trying to say, right, Nick? Yes. This is who Ken Blood was actually blackmailing. Naturally, gives you, detective, at me. Do you have some sort of base for the claim? You've been personally involved in every single Master case. In the last case, you recovered what was stolen. You received a jewel as your reward. A jewel. Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. That is the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you. Order in the court. Order, I say. It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Wright. Oh, I don't like the way he said that. Ken Bullard blackmailing Luke at me. Are you for real? Yes, I am. Hey, come on, stand up to him. And answer me this. The Blackmail letter contains the following passage. You don't want your identity revealed to the world? Yes, it certainly does. Ken Bullard threatened to make Luke at me's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret, so just what was that identity? He killed Ken Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What's the identity he wanted to keep secret? That's what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity that Look at me wanted to keep so desperate to keep secret. Was Master Mask. What? That's my line. What's that supposed to mean? That's my line too. Listen up, you. This is what you've been saying up to this point in time. The witness pretended to be Master Mask in order to pin the murder of the defendant. In which case, you'll want to insist, after and beyond the day you die, that Ronda Light was in fact Master Mask. I'm saying, sudden change of heart doesn't reflect well on me. Okay. Got me. Was a blackmailer.
Objection!
Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Ken Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke at me. You're saying that Atme was blackmailing someone else on top of that? You have to admit that it's a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Ken Bullard was blackmailing Luke at me. But Ronda Light was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So, did you start receiving? Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Ronda Light was actually Master Mask. That's what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Light steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Look At Me. Silence. Now I see, it's all become clear. What is? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless, with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you... You said that I, Look At Me, was blackmailing Ronda Light. In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Master Mask. Well, yes. Ronda Light started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed his first crime. Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hot bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Look At Me know that Ronda Light was Master Mask? I think I see it. See what? When you were in school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention. What do you mean? It's a newspaper cooking. It has a picture of you and Ronda Light in his guard uniform. Since the Master Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Correct, with tricks like that he couldn't pull a baby, let alone an ace detective. That's when you figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under his mask, Master Mask was really Ronda Light. What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Master Mask? Although it had, looks like it wasn't even an ace detective. I can tell you, he was just some blackmailer. The fraud, trying to pass himself off as an ace detective. Why, how dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud detective and also a Master Mask. Why can't you understand that? I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. Why you... How dare you... How... Well, why not? I sent off that. I can't fucking read this. It's enough to make one laugh. It would seem we finally arrived at the real answer. That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme. Bailiff, please prepare yourself for Mr. Atme.
Objection!
The hammer that strikes too fast. There's no time to A. What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my ruling. Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge. Couldn't get much more in your face than that. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Wright. What do you... It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like, look at me, was a filthy blackmailer. That he wasn't at Lord Taylor the night of the murder. That's right. That's why he's the one who killed Mr. Bull. But... there's still one thing you have yet to prove. What's that? Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove this pitiful excuse for a man who escaped his security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. No way! Order in the court. Well, Mr. Wright, this is it. Final round. We have to prove that Edme was at Buller's office on that night. But can you really prove that? That's long enough. Mr. Wright, I want to hear your answer. Tonight, look at me was at KB security. The defense... I don't see how I could. I can't prove it. Just as I thought. But if we hear more of Detective Atme's testimony...
Objection!
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Wright. What do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony, that's what I mean. What? Oh god. If we then look at me here after we interrupted his own trial. They have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as Master Mask. No. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I'm the detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Justice from the light will verify that he is the true murderer. Declare that with the full force of my age detectiveness. Order in the court. That's enough deliberation over this witness. I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is... Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and... By then it'll be too late. Huh? Why? Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law. Double jeopardy. The defendant be tried and found innocent in a court. The defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. It is a fundamental rule of all courts. It applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else. Mr. Edme will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as Master Mask, which means he will be innocent as far as the murder of Ken Bullard is concerned. No way. The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atme's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Ken Bullard's murderer. Ah. Oh, there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent. Your killer, look at me, will go free. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. As long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? Then I hereby enter cross-examination of look at me. I think I see it, Your Honor. When you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. As poor as poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result. How did you... Phoenix, raise your head up high. You've forgotten what I used to tell you. A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice... No way. Wait, is it who I think it is? Oh, I see, just... Oh, yeah, okay. I was thinking for some reason. Oh, yeah, never mind. Fuck. Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia. It's a true power of the crunch and technique. No, it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can cross-examine. But yet, the testimony is not over yet. What do you mean? You know, just now you said something very interesting. I cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, that's true, but unfortunately you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Well, sorry, right, that seems that Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever. Very well, then we shall prove their importance by cross-examination. Anyway, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we the defense has sought our right to question them. Alright with you, prosecutor? Is something a matter, Mr. Godot? Ah, nothing. Officer or lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, let's hear it. Huh? It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Mr. Godot, what are you? Very well then, so look at me. I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks. The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer. So please, give us one last bit of testimony. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last stand. Yes, Chief. Indeed, it is true that I was not at the Lord Taylor. I believed to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. A brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Light. Thanks to Kelly keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Light was wearing his Master Mass outfit, which is why he left no prints. The Blackmail Letter, the victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Sorry. Therefore, all the evidence points at the poor boy. Testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. His earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. Of course. But how did you know about the emergency buzzer? Police investigation documents went directly through me. I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, so lawyer. Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, sir lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. We cannot postpone look at Miss trial any longer. This is your last chance. Hang on a sec, just one chance. It seems that the party is about to begin. Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean, so it would seem? Listen, Phoenix, finding out contradictions doesn't always mean you have the present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. You can point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it. Cup number 17, the last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial. To find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. And I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance. Very well, Mr. Wright. This being our final cross-explanation. Final sense my ass. Saves coming for the win. Is that me? About this last remark.
Objection.
Still don't get it, dude, right? This isn't the time to be present a witness on every little statement. I said this before. There's still one thing you haven't proven. This gun was in Kane Bullard's office that night. Now, it's time for me to check my last stuff. Okay. Annoying that I can't even load during that. But okay. Wait. Of course. Is that me? About this last remark? Never mind, I guess. Can't even know. I don't want to go through this more times. God damn it. Dude, what the fuck? Oh, of course. You said me about this last remark.
Objection.
You still don't get it, right? This isn't the time to be better. Every little statement. Fred, you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Goddard. What? Is that me? It seems you have finally admitted you were in the CEO's office the night of the murder. How can you say that? Severe testimony, shall we, Mr. Me? Blunt did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. was wearing his Master Mask outfit, is it correct? Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. I'm sorry, whatever do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty. I'm excited that we learn the fact that Underlight was dressed as Master Mask when he went to the scene of the crime. That was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare. Huh? That's right. The defendant had yet to tell anyone else that this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know these are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atme? There's no way that you should have known about that. You were in the next courtroom being tried as Master Mask. So then enlighten us. Just how did you know about this piece of information? Well, come on, you said you must have known about it. You only had plenty of chance to find out beforehand. It's one of those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit. There's one and only one way for Detective Atme to have found it out. One way, you say? Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer.
Objection.
But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker, so there's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was looking at me. It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head. This is what are you implying? Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight. Impossible. Yet you let me. You saw Master Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That's the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. The fuck? What the? Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a role worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown. That's the same line you gave me yesterday. But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. God. An awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Look at Me, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Look at Me tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty of Master Mask in order to escape his true crime. And to that end, he came up with this plan. He used the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi. At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth. Excuse me. I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer. Don't ignore me! Oh, I didn't realize you were there. Why wouldn't he be? God. About the verdict. I know. You never committed any murder. That's right, I'm so glad you understand that. But I really am Master Mask. Huh? But thanks to the trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy? Now that you mention it. I mean careless. Careless? What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. The defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent. Then, Master Mask is really innocent? It seems so. For now. For now. Now then, this court finds the defendant. Nice. Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, isn't good so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still am a Master Mask after all. Really 5 PM. Great, Phoenix. Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days. Oh, I was joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. On the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days. You mean about becoming the master of the crime challenge school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. Mr. Faye, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Of course. Well then, see you around. Mr. Wright, I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. No, wait. It didn't really matter anymore though, at all if this has happened. Come on, just be happy already. Maya, being cleared of the murder charges and got off as Master Mask from the boot. But Nick Saints, I lost everything. What do you mean? Since security information from KP Security became Master Mask. I did it all for one reason, for her. Your wife, Desiree. She hates criminals more than anything. When I think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB security and I lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why I became Mr. Mask. Yes, but it's all over now. Broken ball can never be put back together. That's not true, right, Nick? Right. Really? Can we go back to the waiting square? It'll be fine, and Nick can prove it. Will I prove it with the vase? Or the urn, rather? I kind of wish you would check with me first. This is life. Even if a ball is broken, there's always a way to put it back together. Sacred urn. She was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. Ah, there you are. Mr. Lights. Great, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate that. But, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you? Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what's going on? I had no idea you'd quit KB security. I never imagined that you were really Master Mask either. What are you going to do now that you know? You're not going to really leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's pretty fast. So fast that there's no way he could ever get away. But didn't you say that you hated criminals? Oh, I don't hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Let me that too. I see. Attorney went and declared his crimes before he committed them like a man. I saw a man who was so chivalrous. Chivalrous. I know I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desi. Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy. Yes. I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. I can feel my face going red. Nick, Mystic Maya, congratulations! Talk about bad timing. Cynic, how could you? With another man's wife, in front of Mystic Maya. No, you got over. I'll never forgive you, never, ever. God. So just as the case came to a close, so did my consciousness. Ron said a broken ball can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before. So to the not turned about yet. Nice. Receipt for turnabout. Okay then. I'll just get this started until I can save again, I suppose. That's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong the trial. The case is extremely clear. I see no room for misinterpretation of the facts. It wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me. The evidence and testimony we have seen and heard are conclusive. The victim was alone at his table when... No, you're wrong. I know what I saw. I saw. There's someone else there. A man. He's a real killer. What the fuck? Why won't anyone believe me? Well, I'd say that pretty much wraps this case up, wouldn't you? Mr. Wright? Scott finds a defendant. Killed. His current had turned. What? even just what? What? That's just not the case, I guess. 3 AM. Okay. Okay. There we go. I meant to, goddammit, do this. Okay.